Farmers Quarter, 13 March, video number 2. Right, so on the second point that this same lady that called me, what we were talking about earlier about farming commercially, would it make financial sense to farm commercially in a communal area? We spoke of another thing. She asked me then, okay, Mitchell, you gave your opinions on would it make sense to farm commercially in a communal area. So what do you think is the right way to farm with livestock in a communal area? Should I focus on quantity or quality? I said, me being the individual I am, I focus on quality. I don't believe in quantity. I'm a person who believes in having 30 very good quality Simra cattle. That's all I need. Because my 30 very good quality Simra cattle would sell at a very good price on auctions and on auctions to private buyers. Because people, at the end of the day, you should remember when people buy cattle, before we start looking at the internals of the cattle, the bloodline, the genetics, whatnot, we buy first on eye value. What we see, if I walk into your kraal, whether it's in the communal area, whether it's cattle or goats or sheep, and I see a beautiful Burbok buck, in a communal area, by the way, on the same level that I would go see at a farmer, at Zico could see his farm, the same quality, and maybe better, I'm willing to spend. Because remember, human beings, we buy things based on what we see, on the eye value, how it looks, how attractive is it to the eye. We buy that. So I said, I believe in quality over quantity. I said, I would rather spend, whether it's a communal or commercial, but I'll give counter arguments to that. I'd rather spend 20,000 or 25,000 or more on a good quality Brahman bull, bring it into my communal area, try and manage its mating of my cattle, and let's better develop and improve my quality of cattle, or quality of livestock that I have the cattle. So I'm improving it. So when I start building this quality, because the animals are better quality, from better genetics, better bloodlines, when an animal is of better quality, you can see that things start changing. Its body, its weight, its size. I don't need to anymore go to Mitco and flood Mitco of like 100, flood Mitco of like 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 slaughter oxen. I just need to go there and then just bring maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 or even 10 very good quality oxen, which are born from a very good quality cow and bull and cows. So overall, their body condition improves because I'm not anymore inbreeding. I'm now bringing in quality bloodline, and I'm focusing on quality. Everything that is not of good quality, I get rid of. I slaughter, I castrate, I slaughter, and I make kapana, and I sell to the people. So I'm a person who believes in quality over quantity, because I believe with quantity, I can run small herds. I can run a smaller herd, like I said, 30 on a communal piece of land and still make money from it. Without really having to risk the thing of increasing my herd to be like 100 in an area where I'm sharing grazing with other people. So I'm a person who believes in quality. I don't believe in quantity. But now to the quantity argument in the communal area, sometimes I do understand. Because you're in a communal area, but wait, before I go to the quantity, why I still believe in quality is this. I'm in a communal area. I'm sharing grazing. I'm sharing water facilities. I'm probably sharing cattle holding facilities with other people. It does not make financial sense to me to run maybe 300 or 100 herds of cattle in a communal area where I have to share these resources with other people. At least if it was on my commercial farm, privatized in Grootfontein or Tavi, or even in the Reebord or the Gobabas area, I could afford to do that, or the Irongo region. I could afford to do that because it's my privatized piece of land. It's fenced off. All four corners are fenced off. So I can afford to increase my numbers on my farm. I know my cattle do not really compete with other people's cattle for grazing and water, and having to take my cattle to the holding facility to inject them for lumpy skin, foot and mouth, or inject them for black water, or inject them for worms, or what they call it, hot water, and so forth. I wouldn't have to compete because it's my commercial private farm. It's much more easy for me to increase the numbers. But now that I'm in a communal area and I'm sharing it with other people, I might have to run a smaller herd. Now when you run a smaller herd, I know when you run a smaller herd in the communal area and you take a smaller number of cattle to Mitco, you might not get paid out a lot of money. But then I said, but if I take my slaughter oxen to Mitco, they are 100 kilos heavier than the other slaughter oxen because they are from better quality. I invest and I spend time focusing on my quality and my genetics to get them right. I can make more money. Because on the end of the day, these animals are weighed, of course. The cattle walk in, they get into a scale, they weigh them. And the heavier the cow, the more money. You get what I'm saying? So I hope you guys are following what I'm saying here. So this is why I believe in quality. I believe that if I have to go to Houston Groenewald's farm and buy a Brahman bull for 40,000, and it's of very good quality and it's known for breeding very good quality heavy slaughter oxen, I will spend that money because there is a reason to it. I can't run, as I said, I can't run a big herd here because I'm sharing. The resources, the natural resources, the watering points, the grazing and the holding facilities are shared amongst maybe let's say the 5 or 10 families in the area. But let me come to the quantity argument now. The quantity argument makes sense in a lot of communal areas because I do kind of get it why people focus on, I don't care about how good this animal look. I don't care about how good this cattle look like. I just want numbers. Because when they go to, for example, Mitco, like most of the guys up in the communal areas, in the northern NMC, in the northern communal areas, do not have the luxury as the guys in the southern part of the communal areas who are in the southern part of the veterinary corridor, who can take their animals from, as I mentioned in the previous video, from Ochinene, take them to an auction in Khobabas, take them to the auction in Vertvlei, take them to an auction in Mitara. The guys up there, their only biggest meat buyer, if it's not the private guys who make kapana, who make the kapana and sell it up there, it is the abattoir that is Mitco, the national abattoir. And if you bring small numbers, you might not make a good check. This is why some farmers up there would concentrate and say, I want 500 or I want more. Because let's say you have 80 animals. You have a big herd of 80 cattle. From that 80, let's say 40% of that 80%, from that 80 cows, 40% of those cows born are males, and you castrated all of them and you made them oxen. You are literally taking not just 1, 2, 3, 4. You're taking 80, you're taking 40 slaughter oxen, slaughter cattle to Mitco, whether they are good weight or not good weight. The fact that you are bringing in big numbers means that you will get a bigger check compared to me, who's probably taking 3, 4, 5, who are maybe heavier than your cattle. But the fact that you are taking more numbers, it means that, okay, let me say average price Mitco is paying per tolly, it's about 5,000. Now 5,000, now let's say 5,000 multiplied by 40. So you're taking 40 animals and you're getting paid an average price of 5,000 on a cow. So you're making a big check on the end of the day compared to the guy who has the quality, isn't it? Yeah. Compared to the guy who has the quality, isn't it? Yeah. You're making more money. You're making more money on the end of the day. But me who has quality, if I was not in the red line area, right? And I was not in the red line or the northern communal areas, and I took my cattle to a stud auction or to what do you call this? To a commercial auction in our area, and it pulls buyers not just from the communal but also buyers from outside the communal areas, and they come see, and they're saying, yeah, hey, but Mitchell, slaughter auctions are tipping the scale at 3 to 400 kilograms plus. It's good quality cattle. People spend. It makes sense when I'm taking it to an auction and the animals are heavier. People spend. You see what I'm saying? People will spend. People will take the money out. Sometimes with quality, you just need 2 or 3. And you can make the same price. You can make the same paycheck as the guy who has the quantity. I mean, the quality as the guy who has the quantity. But it depends. It depends really if you have the market freedom, such as to say, if Mitco is not offering me a good price, I can take to an auction. If the auction is not offering me a good price, I can sell privately to people, and people will come. But if you do not have those options of saying, I'm struggling with these 3 things, where can I go and get buyers? I've heard people even say, with that $35,000, $40,000 bull you bought, you are the only one who's going to buy it back. Who will spend that money? You see what I'm saying? So it depends. It really depends. The argument of quality over quantity depends where you are farming. If you're farming in an area where you have the freedom to say, man, the Gatima auction didn't offer me a better price. Let me go to Kavango. If Kavango is not offering me a better price, let me go to Grootfontein. Grootfontein is not offering me a better price. Let me go to Otavi. Because your animals are of such quality, when they go to any auctioning rings, they can get better prices. But then again, it's spending money and spending fuel. But if you're in a communal area where you're not allowed to move your cattle in and out the region or into other regions, it's better to focus more on having big numbers. I understand why some people say I'd rather have big numbers than focus on quality. I'll focus on quality later. Now it's just the quantity. I want to make the money. Because the big numbers you have at a very good day, an auction or taken to the abattoir to get slaughtered, and you bring about 40 slaughter oxen there, you make, and all of them are given a clean bill of health, and none of them are sick, whatever, everything is very good and very healthy. You make a big check because they have to pay you on every cow, per cow. They don't pay you once, but they pay you per cow. You know, on that 40 animals, you're getting, let's say, 5,000 for 40 animals. So they're paying you per head compared to the guy who has the quality. But then if you ask me, what do people in the communal area, or what would you advocate for people in the communal area? As I said, I'm biased on this topic. I lean towards quality. I believe in creating quality products. I always use the mindset of, you look at Rolex, right? You look at Rolex. Rolex is a watchmaking company. Rolex doesn't try to flood the market with different type of Rolex watches, entry level, medium, expensive, super expensive. They just have one brand. Even though they have different names, the Pilot, Rolex, the Pilot, Rolex, the Oceaneer, and so an Oyster. They just create one brand of Rolex, which are super expensive. You get other watchmakers who probably try and make, like Hallmark, for example, Hallmark watches and so forth. They're also expensive, but some of them try and make entry-level, intermediate, expensive to super expensive. They try to have different watches for different markets. And I always base my philosophy when it comes to livestock cattle. When I was even farming here in the Witwatersrand area, I always said, I'd rather be like Rolex and focus on creating one thing of such good quality that it brings me very good dividends, rather than focusing on 10 to 20 different things that will bring me dividends. I want to focus on one thing. If I'm saying I want to focus on breeding Simbra cattle and I'm focusing on breeding quality Simbra cattle, that's where my mind is. Rather than the next person would say, I will buy Simbra cattle, I don't care about the quality, I want quantity. I want 100 Simbra, I want 100 Brahman, I want 100 Simmental, I want that. So this is what I'm focusing on. So I always say it depends. It depends on our mindsets. The argument of quantity versus quality is always going to be a heated argument. But as I said, I am more of the quality type of people. I believe in creating one product, for example, like this floss here, of very good quality, that it brings me very good dividends, rather than having to create different type of flosses just to flood the market so I can make ends meet on the end of the day. So that's my mindset. But as I said, it depends. You know, if you're farming in an area where you have market freedom of taking your animals wherever you want to go sell them, quality is the way to go. But sometimes when you're secluded in one area and you only have one buyer, I understand why most people focus on having a lot of animals. Because if I have this one buyer and I know he doesn't pay out well, I rather flood him with a lot of animals so he pays me for each animal. For each animal, I get a price of it. So that's my 2 cents, guys. As I said, comment. I'd love to read your comments in the bottom there to hear what you guys think. Quality over quantity. What do you guys believe? Which one is the best way to go in a communal area, in a communal setup? What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with what I said, or you don't agree? But again, thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing the videos. May you guys have a good night.